welcome to the show. So tell us what you've been up to, Miss Edna.
Okay, let's do it in a simple fashion. 2 weeks ago, I do community work. I work with young people. So I was invited, and I do Harriet Tubman, I do Sojourner Truth, I do Ida B. Wells. So young people in the community was doing a video to Nicki Minaj and Dre. They wrote a letter to them asking them to please change their conduct for the young people. Now these were little children from 3 to maybe 18. So I was Harriet Tubman. The video is on YouTube. They say it's the rave of YouTube. And I protected history, so I made sure that when you do Harriet Mother Tubman, you have to do her in a wood experience. So I have clothes that fit hiding in the woods. And then I'm teaching storytelling from a therapeutic healing property. It's okay to be a storyteller. It's okay to be a griot. But if you study the ancient history of the griots, they were the blessed people that did all the healing in the village, the laying of hands, the singing, the call for birth. We did all of that. So I'm doing that at the Waxter Senior Center in Baltimore. And I've been a long time partner, the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum with Dr. Joanna Martin. Dr. Martin has been phenomenal in the community. I took her 40 children who was performing in the alley, in a public housing alley. 40 students dancing their life away, performers. I called Dr. Martin up. I said, Dr. Martin, I videoed it. I'm going to see that you get the video. These children are actually professional dancers with nowhere to perform. You know, Dr. Martin said, bring them up here. So I took children in there that was blown away. They was dealing with being in the museum like, oh my goodness, this is a museum. Never been in there before. And I'm running around in there like a little pink bunny with a battery.
Speaking of Dr. Martin, we have a clip.
We're backstage with Sinbad at his performance here in Baltimore. We welcome you to the city and thoroughly enjoyed the show.
Cool. It was good. We had fun. Hippodromes. It's off the hook. I want to congratulate the doctor for the Blacks in Wax Museum. They got the American Legacy. One of the, what was it, 10 museums they honored?
10 museums.
10 museum, which is a high honor, one of the best museums. I'm going to come through there. I couldn't make the trip this week, not going to lie. But next time I come this area, whether it's D.C. or Baltimore, I'm going to come by.
Well, I'm going to do a personal tour, and I really appreciate your taking the time to come visit us. And I thoroughly enjoyed the performance here in Baltimore.
Okay.
And also in New York.
Okay. And I expect to see my character, my wax. When I come in, I'll be my Sinbad wax character. Yeah?
With 4 figures.
What was your first character?
Mary McLeod Bethune and Frederick Douglass.
Okay.
And we used to put them in the hatchback of my car.
No.
And set them up and take them home to our 2-bedroom apartment.
So if the police stopped you, look like...
Well, they did stop my husband once because he had Frederick Douglass's feet sticking out.
No.
You know, asked him to cover those things up, you know, and not to get on the beltway driving around with those things hanging out.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
Resided in the...
How they live. They hung out.
They hung out, thank you, good word. In the guest bedroom of our 2-bedroom apartment. And if you come in at any given time and look in there, you'll see Mary McLeod Bethune's head on the dresser, Frederick Douglass's torso in the corner.
So you put them together when you were exhibiting the things, right?
Right, because you can take them apart. The heads come off and the hands.
Now, who designs? Who makes actually wax stuff?
Well, we have a team of wax figure makers from across the country. Because when we first started, I mean, the figures that they made for blacks were just...
I know they're terrible. They always were terrible. They were terrible.
They didn't look like human beings, and so we just kind of started doing our own thing. Even at one point, someone in Morgan, my husband taught in Morgan, they taught him how to make paper mache and chicken wire bodies. And so, we found that we just needed to buy the heads and the hands, and then we stuck them on those little bodies that he fashioned. And when we opened up our storefront on Saratoga Street, there was There was one figure, if you walk by it real quickly,
They
the
fall
head
over?
would go like this because of the chicken wire. But, so it's been an interesting thing. But just the whole idea, now we have over 150 wax figures. They're very well done. We recently unveiled one of Dr. Dorothy Height. We're doing Medgar and Murley Evers Williams for the NAACP for the convention in D.C. In July.
How long does it take to make one?
We're comfortable with 5 months because it allows us to show it to some person that they've designated to approve of it, and
Okay.
we can make changes and so forth.
All right. And how'd you pick who you're gonna make the next figure of?
When we first started out, it was just looking at that part of history that does not get told. And so we didn't do a lot of athletes and entertainers in the beginning. But we were in the midst of a block-long expansion of the museum.
Okay.
And so we are telling all aspects of history.
All right.
We unveiled the wax figure of Shirley Chisholm, and she was at the unveiling.
Okay.
And so it's a very serious history. The most compelling part of it is our slave ship that you go down into, hear
Okay.
the sounds and so forth, and it doesn't pretend to be anything except a slave ship.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
And we also are one of the few museums in the country that tell the story of lynching as a permanent exhibit. And
Okay.
again, it doesn't pretend that lynching was frontier justice. It was lynching, a horrendous act. So anyway, I'm hoping you come.
I have to come check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
So that was a great video. So could you just tell me about any other organizations or what else you do in the community?
Sure. And I mentioned Spirits in Motion Freedom Student, 6 years old, Mama Jaylyn, drummer. She has a steel ritual drum, dancer, singer, performer. 10 years old, King Zalia, capoeira dancer, drummer, honor student. 13-year-old, Takia Imani Covington, spokesperson, wrote a grant with Judy and them over at Youth Resources to teach drum classes, got the grant. 13-year-old King Master Nabingi drummer. He teaches drum classes. He's a chess player. He's a Parkville VIP sports person. And 14-year-old Sinead Allen Turner. She's our camera person. She's the mom of the group. She babies, hugs, and loves all the children. And Deja Allen, Parkville student, singer.
That was really interesting.
Thank you. That's just an example of a small group of children that's a larger representation of the children in Baltimore. I've been for years defending the negativity in our communities. That vicious cycle of children that they claim are destroying Baltimore, they're a very small element. Because all the children that I affiliate with are very hardworking students. They are business people. They're storytellers. They go to school. They come home. They're respectable. And I just want to thank you for this. And I really just want to thank you as a young person doing
thank
media
you.
work, because we need to have people see that it's about the young people. Y'all are tremendously talented. This is a very positive experience. I'm loving this. I am loving this.
Thank you, and I greatly appreciate it. But right now, we're going to take a break. Welcome back. So tell us about the grill.
Okay, so here we go. We're into the history of the keepers of the culture. So people say griot, but actually the word is griot. So I try to help people along with that word. And a griot is a person that has been selected by the elements, heaven, the universe, and the earth to maintain an existence of ledgers, mental ledgers. Mentally, I'm going to write everything down in logs in my brain. And when you ask me for it, I'm going to speak it out so you can get it. Today, griots are more entertainers. They come out to places, they perform. And there's different titles. I'm a sacred griot because I teach therapeutic healing. I teach storytelling as if you was getting a Swedish massage, that acupuncture, that ancient Thai, that ancient chi, because that's what it is. It's the ancient lifting of the inside, propelling it so that you can breathe it out. And you're not actually getting that. You're getting it, but you're getting it as storytellers. Mother Mary Carter Smith, the founder of the Merlin Griots, co-founder of the National Black Storytellers, Mother Linda Goss, who's still with us. They were masters in the field of all vessels. It's like being on the river. You know, the ocean is like an orchestra. The waves are like the horns that you hear in the distance. The water banging against the shore is the drum beat that keeps you moving. So because water is life, in any ethnic family, water represents the life of the people. It was the beginning. So I'm rooted to the beginning because I pray about the water and had spills on the earth. So that gives me a different class as a griot. And like I said, it's different classes. So it's very good that the Maryland Women Heritage Center has so gratefully supported my energy. The Historic Harlem Theater has so gratefully supported my energy. I have been supported in any vessel that I walk into. I take my energy with me and I bring it out. Because I tell people, I'm the village. I'm the people of the village, you see. I come. Every part of me represents the people in the village. Can't you see? And that's a life story. You're the village. You're the village of the young people. You sitting here today, you a griot. You just don't having nobody titled you. So you're officially going to get a certificate from me saying that you are a storyteller because your language with the media makes you a teller. Because you know why? Because you are transforming information for memory protocol. That's what it's all about. The young people are going to see you, oh my, look at her. She's on TV. And you know what? You're setting standards for growth. You're showing young people you don't have to be 70 years old and be on TV. You can be a young person and do very well. And I think you're doing a brilliant job.
Thank you so much.
For all the audience that's looking, isn't she gorgeous? She's so polite.
Aw, Grandmother Edna, if you hear any noises in the background, it's because people are still cleaning up from today's event. So tell us more about the grill. This is so exciting.
And grills were really the nurse mothers. They were the medical people. They were the teachers. They were the chiefs and the fawns and the king's counterpart person. You know, if a big decision had to be made in the village, he would take the grills into his company, and they would sit down and discuss what better way to present a major disaster, phenomenal change in the village to the people, and I paint. And you will notice this very clearly. When I do events, I paint because that is the history of the griot. is to paint the life story on their face. Now, you go to a lot of things, you see a lot of grills performing. I love all my partners and my friends that are grills. They're phenomenal storytellers. But because I'm ancient and I have to live by my standards and my culture, I paint. So the white is the spiritual part. So when you see a grill out and about and their face is painted white, they're coming in full spirit.
Okay, and you have video.
Ferment that was raised up, and then the woman was told to go out and multiply the earth in all directions. So I think in respect to all the phenomenal women, that's an expression of mother and children.
Right.
And then
Okay, go ahead.
we're going to step to Mother Nature, and Mother Nature,
All right, now let me hold you and get right in front of it, okay? And
Mother Nature is our universal mother. She is the creator, example of all the mothers from the heavens to this sacred place called Earth. And if you notice, she seemed to be yelling out because I felt like when I was creating her, I felt like she was very displeased at the way the Earth is looking. So that's an example of, and now all the fabric is hand sewn. Now this is called the divine key. Now if you look at it, this is the womb of the mother, and if you look, it's a glass bead in the middle with a red rose on the inside, which represents an embryo. So from the embryo stage, it passes to the birth canal, and it comes out as the fertility of life. So this is the divine key of motherhood. It's the circle of life, because all the children are our circle, they are our future. And this is sewn on African paper fabric. Now, in our culture, whatever materials you use, wood, whatever you pick from the earth, you retain it. So this table consists of every piece of fabric that I wrap my hair with. There's a big block cut off of it, and these fabrics represent every piece of art that's exhibited here today. And I'm also a part of the Maryland Women Heritage Center. I'm one of the inductees as an unsung Maryland Huron. Because of my work in Baltimore City, I'm a community leader. I've been given a 30-year award for my activist work in the city. I run a homeless service. I run an outreach ministry for women. And I just think that education is the essential key for everything that any person must do.
Very impressive. So if
And then you need to teach the children. So I engage other young people in the community. So I have a young sister. Her name is Lynette. She is an artist. She has her jewelry. I'm doing a plug. She has her jewelry and her artistry on display at the Women's Exchange. And she actually paints the face, the clothes, the belts, the shoes. And then we have phenomenal sisters in the community. I call them the community grills. And what they do is they make jewelry, they come out and they do program, and they teach children how to tie-dye fabric. That's a story. Everything that you do is a story. We have, Baltimore is such a phenomenal cultural city. History, culture. I don't know why the people just don't grow in imagination. All our children should be walking around. You know, I tell a story about the wingless people who could fly. They were people in our history that could fly. Toni Morrison wrote about them in the Song to Solomon. It's been told through tales and folklores and every essence of culture. And to get this straight, you're sitting here with an African griot, but every ethnic family has a storyteller with a different name, but it's all the same. They are the sacred people that maybe live at the middle of the village, somewhere in the center, maybe to the back of the village, but they are highly respected, they are highly regarded, and they are the teachers in the village. children go past them and their world change. When I pass people, they tell me, "Oh, thank you, Mother Edna, you just made my day." And it's because I bring that spiritual, I live as a spirit. What you see here today is physical because I need to be able to move around and interact. But in reality, it's that I call it soulfulness. It's that soulfulness that I walk in. So when I come out my house, I glorify myself. I wear colors. People say this all the time. Oh, your colors. But the African community are the fabrics of the work. That was my art show that I did. The fabric, I'll do fabrics. So I will put all the colors on, but I will rotate the colors as you see my head, my gele, and I call it lacing. It's lace to match the borders of my clothes because I touch every corner of your existence. So I must guard myself and then border me to be structured. And that's what is being taught. This is what I'm teaching. I'm teaching people that your breath, the way you breathe out, is how you meet that wind kind. That's actually our guidance. It's like our guidance counselor, the wind. I teach my children to be scouts. I teach people that you must learn how to see with your ears, think with your heart, and use your mind for the preparation for the movement and action. And once you get those concepts in the correct order, then you will be a foundation for living. Because breathing is only a thing that you do to keep your body busy while you're moving from here to there. People make such a big deal out of everything in life, but actually it's the enjoyment process that you need to propel you to the next generation. You're going to be an elder, then you're going to say, this elder told me this, and then you're graduating with wisdom. So as long as there is a griot and some, or standing on some corner, and there are many, that little alcoholic that you see on the street, that little homeless man, that little leftover lady that people think don't exist, I will bet you this. If you walk out and stood beside them for a minute, you would be so transformed at the stories that they own. Ownership. I don't tell anybody stories. I'm a writer. I write my own stories. My family told me enough stories that I could tell stories for continuation into someone else's life. And the fabric is an expression of energy. So you notice today that I came in an energy format. And look, I'm pulling the energy out. Look at the colors.
Yes, I
Do you
see.
So that's energy. So that means that when you walk into a room, you're always going to have collectible. I'm a magnet. This is what I used to do years ago. I used to come out and I used to have pieces of things pinned on me, pieces of stuff. And I would run through the audience and the children would pull these educational things off of me. And I would call, I would say I was sending a piece of Grandmother Edna to your house. And then it developed into the breathing on her, and it just developed. So I've just encouraged so many young people. I've been in Baltimore in the community. I got a 30-year award, Mother's Day. I'm so grateful to be inducted into this. I keep talking about this fantastic Maryland Women Heritage Center. And I've just got resolutions after resolutions from the mayor's office, the city council. These are gifts that they give people when they're doing their funeral. And to be at my age, and I'm proud to say I'm 65, I don't have a problem with my age, to just say that I started out with this legacy for my grandchildren, you understand. I started out doing this for my house. And I have so many artifacts, so many books, so much stuff to give. I just go and grab children and bring them in my house. The college students come in my house and use my library. They crash on my furniture, they eat up my food. I make them bring me pieces, but they good, and they do their work assignments, and that's free. And I want this clearly understood. Education was never meant to be bought, sold, and paid for.
Say that one more time for our audience.
Education
Camera.
has never been meant to be bought, sold, and paid for. If someone wants to donate to my work, that's fine, because I need existence. But if you call me up, you young people, you said, Mother Edna, and I'm Johnny on the spot. If you said, Mother Edna, we just found your number, we're doing an assembly tomorrow, can you come? I'm going to come and do a performance as if you gave me a 2-month notice. I'm going to come up with a big card with all kinds of displays, books, reference material, videos, old collectible black and white movies, anything that you think you would see in a big, fantastic museum. I have the only copy of the Ancestors Living Theater. We had a community village in Baltimore. We had more artifacts than the Walters Art Museum, and we couldn't get funding. So we had to shut it down. The Bible went back to Ohio, but I have the actual picture of the video. I videoed every chamber in the theater, and I do educational theater. My program is called the Historical Interactive Theater, because if you're sitting in the audience and I'm on the stage, be aware you're coming up there with me. And my children sell educational magnets. They sell my books, my bookmarkers. I just make them business people. They sell the jewelry that I wear. All this is made. We do a process called bartering. That's an African tradition that if you give me a necklace, I'll put it on, I'll wear it somewhere, somebody like it, then they go and purchase it, and I've exchanged 2 businesses and brought them together. And that's what we got to do. A book should be read by you, turned over to the next person to read it, and then they should be committed to give it to someone else. And guess what you're doing? You're starting a school. This will start schools. I mean, you know, it's good to be a scholar. This isn't a proper order, but guess what? The scholars are really the people that have the guts to sit on the curb.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate all your information, and I'm sure our teens do as well. And I wish you the best in your movement, and thanks for joining us today. And I hope you all enjoyed the teens scenes. So until next time, see you again. Bye.